Call to the booth. Week 1 in the books. AFC West, NFC West, undefeated. Harrison, let's talk about it. Paul, drop that beat.
Harrison, Sanford, Aqib, Talib. We're back for a Week 2 preview and looking over Week 1 right here on Call to the Booth. We're looking to some power rankings, no-fly zone rankings. We'll break down A-plus matchups. And as they say in the hood, maybe we'll help you hit a lick by the end of the show, especially in our fantasy football segment as well. But first and foremost, Aqib, when he made his fantasy football team, his first pick went to Tyreek Hill. And one co-host here gave him a side eye, like, I don't know what he's doing. But it turned out to be just fine. He balled out, and Kansas City Chiefs got an impressive win, comeback win over the Cleveland Browns. Give me a breakdown of that matchup, and it's probably like a symbolism, Aqib, for the AFC West, how they were able to get that win off of a popular or maybe the best AFC North team.
Yeah, big win for KC. They got down early. Cleveland controlled the game early, but Patty Mahomes stayed with it, man. You know, he stayed with it, did what he did, came back at the end. But I think that's a preview of definitely a playoff matchup, man. Them guys will see each other again. Them two of the better teams in the AFC, and that was a hell of a game we got to watch.
For sure. I think the one thing that still surprises me, Aqib, is the way Mahomes is able to throw it to Tyreek Hill. Yeah, of course you can hit him on a vertical route, right? Of course you can hit him on like a little drag route, right? But it's the other throws where he throws it up there, and Tyreek Hill, regardless of how small he is, he still kind of boxes out the DB and makes a catch right in front of the DB, and he's gone. You saw what happened to John Johnson?
Then JJ got ball skills too, but it's that speed factor. Once Tyreek get to running, you can't really look back for the ball. You just got to watch his ass, right? You just got to watch Tyreek, and you running. Next thing you know, he slam on the brakes. He go behind you and catch the ball. So, man, it's not a lot JJ can do, man. If he would have been trying to track the ball, Mahomes might have just threw it on the run, and he would have caught it on the run. So, who knows, man? It's not a lot you could do. Hell of a play by Tyreek Hill, though, man. He got his ball skills. Everybody talk about his speed. You talk about his 50-50 catches. His ball skills is underrated, man. He make a bunch of 50-50 catches, man. So I love Tyreek. That's why he was my number 1 pick.
Yeah, I almost forgot how beautiful that can be. And speaking of DBs who got lost, and I don't even know if it's his fault, but Marlon Humphrey lost Zay Jones on Monday Night Football in coverage. Ended up the Raiders getting the win. The Raiders won the game. The Raiders were going to lose the game. They won the game. They lost the game. They won the game. I don't know what. Yeah. Nobody knows how.
Whole lot of back and forth, right?
That was all madness. Shout out to the Raiders and the Ravens for putting on a great performance. But with that being said, I think for you, that loss for the Ravens wasn't just a Week 1 loss. You saw a lot of issues, or you predict a lot of issues for this Ravens team going into this 2021 season.
Yeah, they lost another player, man. They lost their starting guard. He went down. So that injury bug is in Baltimore. You hate to see it, but the injury bug is there. Lamar had the fumbles. They went at MP replacement, man. A lot of balls downfield. And I think MP replacement, he might have been involved in that rub route that when Humphreys got knocked off. You know what I'm saying? You be on the same page. You get on different levels so everybody can get through. Humphreys got knocked off. He got rubbed off on that last route. And I think that's just communication stuff, man. So they definitely going to miss MP. Tough loss for Baltimore. And Kansas City next week, it ain't looking good.
Yeah, could be 0-2. And as you mentioned, did not have Jimmy Smith in that matchup. Obviously lost J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. And they got Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray, and Tyson Williams all trying to help that backfield. They also gave up 18 targets to Darren Waller. Got 18 targets last night. For anybody who bet the under on 70 receiving yards, you lost. That would be a
big time.
Yeah, big time loss for sure. With that being said, so we looked at the biggest loss of Week 1. Let's go ahead and look at the biggest win of Week 1. And it happened down in Florida, but it didn't happen with a Florida team. New Orleans Saints getting an impressive win over the Green Bay Packers.
And one of the things that made it the biggest win is they had to deal with all the hurricane stuff. They went on the road to Jacksonville to play a game, overcame all that adversity, right? Then Jameis come out, He damn near don't incomplete a pass, man. He almost perfect, 5 touchdowns. He don't have to do too much. They run the ball good. Defense absolutely killed the Packers, man. That was I'll say the most impressive win of the week. I wanted to say the Cardinals too against the Titans, but I'll go with the Saints just because they overcame all the outside adversity with the hurricane and all those other issues.
Quick note on the Packers. They played the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football. So, in the words of Aaron Rodgers, RELAX, relax. But I think you would agree with me, that was not a good look, particularly the summer that he came off of, where it was, am I coming back to the team, and all these type of controversies that went through, to come out like that in week 1, where you're a favored team. I imagine they would have to be disappointed, and Green Bay Packers fans have the right to be disappointed in the showing that they put out there.
Yeah, it happened before. They started slow early. He told you relax, and then they went on to start storming, right? So, we'll see what A-Rod do, man. But I definitely see the A-Rod absence playing a part in that offense. It was kind of lethargic. It was kind of off a little bit. So, vibe is everything in football. So you got to be there, man. You got to be there to create that vibe. He wasn't there. Now they creating it on the fly as the season go. Hopefully they create it fast.
Speaking of those Green Bay Packers, no longer in the power rankings, but the Saints are. I'm going to list this off before we go to break. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 1, Kansas City Chiefs at 2, Los Angeles Rams at 3, New Orleans Saints at 4, and Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their win in Buffalo at 5. And speaking of those Saints, they were featured in an A-plus matchup, Marshawn Lattimore versus Devontae Adams. Obviously, the Saints won, and Marshawn Lattimore got the bag. When we come back, we'll talk right about that, and we'll give the no-fly zone right here on Call to the Booth.
What's going on? Pastor Tan here, and you're watching Call to the Booth.
Back with more Call to the Booth. Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib. I'm doing this whole pointing thing different. All right, let's go through the no-fly zone rankings real quick. Just like last week, Denver Broncos staying up at number 1. I assume they'd stay there too, going against Trevor Lawrence in week 2. The Rams move up to number 2. Dolphins, Saints, and the Los Angeles Chargers coming in after a win in Washington against Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heineke, getting that week 1 win and have a great chance to move even higher in week 2 after they take on Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke Elliott, and the Dallas Cowboys. Before we get into looking at some A-plus matchups, though, wanted to talk about Marshawn Lattimore. You discussed Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers having a subpar showing there in week 1, and maybe that was just due to them not really being fully engaged in the offseason. But Marshawn Lattimore, after getting the win, got the bag. 5 years, $97.6 million contract extension. Get that bread. Now has a total of $68.3 million in total guarantees. Aqib, you have been a high-paid cornerback, defensive back. What does that mean for you, particularly when you get on the field and in that locker room? Does that have a tangible difference in something in those aspects?
Definitely, man. Once they give you the bag, now it's like, you elevate. You know what I'm saying? We just elevated you in the building. Now you got more input. You know what I'm saying? We expect you to do more. We ask more of you. So it's weight off your shoulders, but at the same time, you put on the new jacket, it's a whole new weight on your shoulders because they expect stuff from you. You know what I'm saying? So it's good, it's bad. To keep that pressure on, just like you took the pressure off, now you put the pressure on to show that you deserve the bag, right? So Marshawn is a competitor, man. He ain't gonna let off the gas. He gonna show he deserve it. He gonna get more involved upstairs and everything. So congratulations, my boy.
And shout out to the Saints for also announcing it right after they got the win. It was like the perfect time.
The strap. It wasn't no other time, man. He had a good game versus Adams, man. Let's just give him the bag right now while he on his high horse, right? Perfect.
Yeah, Marshawn, when you get out the shower, just pull up to the office real quick. We just gonna got this paperwork.
He got some paper for you. You know what I'm saying? It don't get no better than that.
For sure. All right, let's look at some A-plus matchups. And when you do that, you know the rule, Aqib. What is it?
You gotta follow, baby. If you ain't following, don't try to get on my list. Don't come to man. Go ahead, Harrison.
The no-fly zone player of the year last year, Xavier Howard, has a matchup against the Buffalo Bills. We assume, and Aqib, you can give us a little bit more detail here, he'll be following Stephon Diggs off of his matchup against another tough secondary last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Xavier Howard, Stephon Diggs, how does this matchup play out?
Xavier Howard definitely will be following. I think he fared pretty good, man. He see this guy twice a year. I think he always playing pretty good. He'll have a pretty good game this weekend. Stephon to get maybe 60 or under, no tubs. Xavier Howard win that matchup.
Yeah, it might be a day for Josh Allen to look at his secondary guys. Our guy Emmanuel Sanders is there. Gabriel Davis, wide receiver, is there. Also have Cole Beasley as well. And shout out to Hamilton, my brother, who went to the Buffalo Bills game, went on a bus. 7 hours from Long Island to Buffalo as a Buffalo Bills fan, and saw them lose. Yeah, true fan. Buffalo, and he sent me some videos from Buffalo. It was actually pretty dope. That city is dedicated to the Buffalo Bills, and they've been known as some of the best fans in the NFL. All right, let's look at our second A+ matchup. Marlon Humphrey potentially against Tyreek Hill, but we saw Monday Night Football. Marlon Humphrey went from Hunter Renfrow to Henry Ruggs to Darren Waller. Does that absence of Marcus Peter really impact how he could potentially shadow Tyreek Hill?
I think it do, but I think if you got a true number one receiver, they gonna let Humphrey take care of the receiver. You know what I'm saying? The Raiders kind of ain't have a true number one, so in base packages, they kind of had him on Ruggs. When they kind of went nickel down, they kind of brought him inside to get on Waller and in passing situations. But I think here, man, you pick your poison. You put him on Kelsey. You put him on Tyreek. I think they put him in base defense. He'll be on Tyreek. So we'll see the matchup. You know I'm not betting against Tyreek, baby. He gonna have a day every time he plays. So Tyreek win the matchup. He definitely get in the zone. He definitely get some yards as well.
As Shaquille O'Neal would say, put that on a T-shirt. He's gonna make a play. He's gonna have a day every time he play. I like that one.
I'm telling you.
All right. Before we get out of here, look at some primetime games. A Thursday night football game, that Sunday night football game versus Kansas City and Baltimore. Just want to let y'all know that we kind of went in on week one.
Yeah, we
Aqib
did.
Was right Aqib was right about Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts going off against Atlanta. That has to be probably one of the most embarrassing losses of week one, the way they were handled in their home arena to start the season. The Steelers won outright. Shout out to Paul for getting that one right. And while I did not predict Chris Herndon touchdown correctly for the Minnesota Vikings, I did call the Cincinnati Bengals on that money line. They did win. It did take them overtime, but they got it done. And Jamar Chase apparently catches the ball in the regular season. Who cares about preseason? All right, let's go to our primetime breakdowns real quick. New York Giants at Washington Football Team. Washington Football Team without Ryan Fitzpatrick still a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 40.5. Aqib, how do you see this matchup?
I'm going to ride with Washington -3. Both teams struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna hang my hat on that Washington defense to, cover the spread for me. And it's going to be a defensive battle. I'm going to go under the low-ass 40.5. They going to go under. It's going to be teens versus teens. 14-17, 10-17. It's going to be that kind of game. 10-17, maybe 12-17. It's going to be that kind of game, man. So I'm going under the 40. Big defensive game.
Tough start there for the New York Giants. You start with the Denver Broncos, then you got to take on the Washington Football Team. Two great defenses, and trust me, if Joe Judge tries to challenge a touchdown one more time, they gonna call for his ass out in New York. You can't.
He just irking nerves.
Challenge Joe.
He just irking nerves doing that shit, right? They already gonna challenge it, Joe. It's a touchdown. Come on, man.
All right, Sunday night football. Baltimore Ravens in serious threat of going down 0-2 to start the season. Kansas City only a 3.5-point favorite. I guess Baltimore is still a sturdy team. Over under 54.5. It's Kansas City at Baltimore, but we know the history of Kansas City beating Baltimore. How do you see this matchup?
Around with KC -3.5. That I thought the spread would be a little bit higher, just because all the injuries and they Kansas City at home, right?
Kansas City's on the road.
Kansas City on the road. So that's why the spread's so low. Baltimore at home. But I like Kansas City going on the road, win by more than 3.5. And 54 high now. 54 is high, but I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over because Kansas City going to score points. They defense ain't really stopping nothing. It's definitely not the run. So high 30s, high 20s. That's what I think the game going to look something like that. So Lamar shake back. He had 2 fumbles. He got a little chip on his shoulder. He always play with a chip on his shoulder. So he going to come back, have a good game. I don't think he's going to win the game. I think he's going to have a productive game against that defense, though. So I'm going to go over the 54.5 and Chiefs minus 3.5.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs and this potential win, that'll make them 2-0. Chargers have a chance to go 2-0 as well as they take on the Dallas Cowboys in Week 2. And the Denver Broncos, also in that AFC West, can go 2-0 if they take down the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what we expect. We'll break down that matchup in our Thursday show right here on Call to the Booth. That's Aqib Talib. I'm Harrison Sanford. We out.